Okay, welcome to MIDI 2, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do a different input method in Finale. We're going to use the song Auld Syne. That's like the New Year's Eve song that everyone likes to sing at New Year's Eve. And I've already set it up to save time. I showed you in the last video how to use the templates, and I used a different font this time, just to show you one of the different ones. And let's see. Yeah, it's all ready to go. So I want to use the Hyperscribe method this time. Now this is good if you have some ability to play the piano. You can set the tempo very slow if you want, but it can save time if you have, piano chops, as we say. You set up your Hyperscribe options, including the quantization setting. So your smallest note, in this case, here's our piece, smallest note is an eighth note. So I'm going to click the eighth note up here. And, no tuplets. That's the default settings are usually pretty good. But there are more settings if you want to try some other things, minimize number of rests, all that stuff. Just say okay, okay. And I already put in the first note because it would be kind of difficult to do a pickup note. And I believe we also have the beat source, and that's where you find the click and count off. So we got the beat source set to 1 beat, and this is where you can also, it's using a tempo of 100. We might want to set it to like 90, because that's, we certainly don't want it faster than the piece has to be, and we could set it slower. So this says listen, but I don't want to click to set the tempo. We just want to set it at 90. All right, say okay, and here we go. So I'm going to click on this. We also have 2 measures count off. I forgot to show you that. That's under click and count off. 2 measures is set there. You can change it to 1 if you like. All right, so here we go. Then you click on this to start it. You start with the mouse by clicking, and you also have to end it with the mouse, which is kind of weird. I'm always wanting to try to hit the space bar to stop it, but that won't stop it. And I have my Logic Pro in the background there to make sure I always have some sound going, even though, Finale has sound, but sometimes it's just more reliable if you have it in the background. So here we go. Okay, got some kind of little malfunction here. Another thing to do is, it's sometimes easier if you set your MIDI audio to play through MIDI. The audio units may sound slightly better, but again, generally we're not looking at Finale as something that's going to sound great. We're looking at for something that's going to create printed music that we can give to musicians, and then they're going to make it sound great. Or we may record it into our DAW later. All right, let me try again now, since we set this on play Finale through MIDI. There we go. 2, 2, 3, 4. And Command U to update the layout. And if you notice, there is a first ending and second ending down here at the bottom. So I'm going to use the repeat tool and go ahead and set that up by clicking on the first ending, the first part of it, and then go to the repeat tool, create first and second ending. And boom, it just does it. Now they're usually, you need to be raised up a little bit and adjusted. They're kind of funny how they have all these little handles, and there's a reason for it, and it's, like I always say, Finale will do anything you want it to do, but it's going to take a little doing. I'm going to raise this one up also to match, and you can set this to be a little space there if you want to. Put this up nice and high up there. That gives you room for the chord changes that need there. Command S to save. And by the way, make sure you put your arranged by up here. I put Dr. Mike Bogle, put your name here. This is really how I know that you did it in Finale, etc., because at least you were able to get your name in there. So now I have to put in the chords and the lyrics. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the lyrics because that's probably the harder part. Get the lyric tool and start typing. Should, spacebar, Auld, acquaintance, be, forgot, and never brought Scottish, so they say things funny, to mind, question mark, should Auld acquaintance be forgot and days of Auld Lang Syne. All question marks. Interesting. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear. For Auld Lang Syne, semicolon. Okay. We'll drink a cup o kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. And then there's a second verse, okay? And so for the second verse, you have to go up here and go up to the lyrics menu and go to specify current lyric and put verse number 2. Say okay. So it kind of pops it down there. And let's go ahead and write that in. Here's a hand, my trusty friend, and geez, a hand o' thine. Okay, I don't quite understand that, but for now I'm going to go with it. O' thine. We'll take a cup o' kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. And if you need to, you just backspace if you need to, if you mess up. I'm using the, like Shift Tab will take you backwards if you need to, and you can delete words if you need to. Now, we don't need to go any further because the chorus is the same, and we just need like another word on the end. We might even want to put that as if it was in the first one, so it won't be lower. So I'm going to go back to lyrics, specify current lyric. Let's go to 1, say OK, and just put in the last Syne. And there it is. Now there's ways to that we can space those out. We also need to get rid of this long line at the end here. It's an extension. So let's go to text again, lyrics, specify our current lyric. We want the second verse, and see what else we can find under lyrics here, like edit word extensions. Yeah, so this really long one here, let's see if I can just delete it. Okay, that worked pretty good. And so that's not bad. We got a little extra space between the first and second verse, but it's not too bad. Let's put the chords in. Let's see here. Adjust bass lines. Well, I'm going to put the chords in first. Chord tool, F. Oops. I wanted to type them right into the score. F, D minor, B flat 6, C7, F, F7, B flat, and then that same part is repeated, looks like. And I'm going to save that since it's exactly the same, because we can copy and paste it later. Skip over here, days, D minor, G minor, 7, C7, F, B flat, F, F7, B flat 6. And this is a trusted source that we're using here, so we can pretty much count on these chord changes to be pretty good, because that's not always the case. F, D minor, B flat, 6, C7, A7, then we got D minor, G7, or G minor 7, B flat over C, use the underscore to put the over, because that's going to put it straight up and down, and I prefer that to the slash because it can cause confusion. It might be considered to be two chords instead of a inversion or a polychord. Okay, F, and then last measure F, and we're pretty much done. Okay, what's missing? There's a couple of little slurs and things. You can put those in if you want to. Oh, that's right, we still have to copy the chords from these two measures because they're exactly the same as these two measures. So Command C, and then just check my filter, Command Option Shift F, and say none but the chords. And then I can paste them right there. So that's all the same. So there you go. This one is pretty well done. See, we even got our little copyright down here. It's another way I know that you actually did this. You didn't just turn in someone else's music. All right, that's it for the Hyperscribe method. And you can use combinations of these. Like I said, I usually use mostly the speedy note entry, and sometimes Hyperscribe if it's something very simple like this one. This one came out great because sometimes it requires some editing and whatnot. You can see these little slurs here, which look very much like ties. And there's not really necessary to do that, but if you wanted to do that, here's the Smart Shape tool, and the default is the slur, and you just double click on the first note and go to the second note, and that just means make it smooth. Auld lang. So we can put those in. Now that one goes under instead of over. Could change that if we wanted to. Etc. That one's there. That one's there. So we got most of those. This one. There we go. Just click on the right little button there, and you can go above if you wanted to. But actually, we didn't want to. It's supposed to be below. So let's go Apple Z, Apple Z, and that's it. Let's not gild the lily for now. Auld Lang Syne is done. I'll see you on the next one.